Four Boys from the NL Girl podcast. My name is Patty. It is Thursday, January 11th. I've had to look that up twice. And I'm coming to you from currently beautiful eastern, from the Avalon Peninsula of the beautiful province of Newfoundland and Labrador on the extreme east coast of Canada. It is winter. It is -7 with a wind chill of -15 or something today. And I've been out for a short walk with a friend of mine. I'll show you some footage from that at the end of the video because the sea was up. We call this a great big sea when the waves are up like this. And so the sea was up and we got to go for a walk down by it, and it was quite impressive. A little bit frightening because my friend's dog was getting a little too close to the cliffs, but we survived. This is Bella the cat. Yeah, Bella. Meow, meow. Bella's one of our two calico cats. One is the long hair, Bella's the short hair of the two. Angel's the long hair, and she's usually the one that shows up on the podcast. I can't believe it's the new year, so Happy New Year, everybody. I hope you had a wonderful holiday season, whatever you did. I hope you had found some time to make something or to relax with family and friends and basically to have a wonderful holiday season. It was wonderful for us here. We have spent a lot of time with friends and family. It was fairly low-key Christmas. We always stay home for Christmas. I prefer not to travel over the Christmas holidays. And it was great. Great visiting with our kids and playing with them. They got some electronic media. They had a PS4 Pro for Christmas, and Santa was a little overly generous, I think. And so they've been playing video games with that. And so it was generally a great Christmas season and New Year's. And now it's time to start the reality of a new year of 2018. I'm still not quite used to the idea that it's a new year and that it is 2018. But we're only 11 days in, so I've got lots of time to make plans. And I don't really do formal resolutions per se, but I do have some ideas about some plans I want to make craft-wise this year. So if you're new to the podcast, then welcome. I hope you enjoy your time here and feel welcome. And if you're a returning viewer, thank you very much for joining me. It has been a little while since my last podcast because I podcasted in early December and then did a few vlogs. And I did the vlogs. Bella, who you just saw, is home. She's a lot happier now. We unfortunately had to give up our foster dog. If you've been following me for a while, you will know about this. And if you haven't, I'm sorry, you may be a bit lost. We had decided to foster some dogs through Beagle Paws just before Christmas, but one of our cats was gotten sick from the stress of fostering the dogs, so we had to give up our foster dog so that our cat Bella could get back to her old self, and she's almost there. We still have a litter box upstairs as opposed to just downstairs, so we're slowly moving that back down to where it should be. And she seems to be generally happy now, so that's really good. We're very pleased about that. It was very worrying when she was sick. It's hard when cats get sick because they get depressed really quickly, and we were very afraid for our little kitty, but she's doing fine now. Angel is up to her usual tricks. She may drop by in a few minutes as well. So without further ado, I want to talk about a couple of finished objects one finished object, one almost finished object for 2018. I've mentioned before that I volunteer at the St. John's Military Family Resource Center. I'm the craft volunteer for one of the programs there. And this past Wednesday morning, what myself and the ladies worked on was these cute little snowmen. So they're just a simple sewing project with a toothpick nose, painted orange, just paint dots for eyes, cute little buttons on the ears for earmuffs, and a little scarf. It's a little bit of thread. So that's the one that I had made for the sample. And then the one that I made on Wednesday morning with the ladies is this one. But we just all decided that we want to knit scarves so I need to put some paint around here. But we all want to knit scarves for our little snowman, so I need to knit a scarf for this guy. So cute. I was really happy with how they turned out. And one thing that I'm trying to do a little bit more of this year is some winter decorating. I think I mentioned this last year as well. I like to have a transition. It's hard, I find, to go from full blown out because I really decorate a lot for Christmas, and then we go down to the winter season and it's very dull, and it feels really empty because the tree is gone. So this year I've made a really even more concerted effort to get some more decorations in the house and to give it more, I guess, kind of a wintry theme and kind of go with that. So if I think about it and have time, I'll take some pictures of some of the decorations that I have up for winter, not just Christmas. So I also want to show you a couple of works in progress that I have knitting wise right now. I didn't mention earlier, this is a podcast about knitting, but I also talk about cross stitch and rug hooking, sewing, quilting, basically all the crafty things that I'm involved in. So you'll see quite a, over the course of weeks, you'll see a range of the things that I'm involved with. So along with many other people in the knitting world, I did a New Year's cast on. I actually cast on the 23rd of December, cast on a pair of socks. This is a tradition that came from Danny hi Danny, of the Little Bobbins podcast. And she casts on a new sock on Christmas Eve, to celebrate Christmas Eve. And in Newfoundland and Labrador, we celebrate the eve of Christmas Eve. We call it Tibbs Eve. And so that's what I cast mine on, because that's kind of a celebratory day here. And I've done fairly well with them. This is just the first sock, but I'm not fast knitting socks, although I've done really well. I'd put these on blockers, but I can't. I'm setting in the afterthought heel, and I don't want to put them on blockers because I'm afraid that I may lose one of my needles. So I've made it. I've knit all, so I have Progress Keeper because I started these on New Year's Eve, Tibbs Eve. So I've knit down, gone past the afterthought heel and am into the foot, but I've stopped because I'm not sure where to start my toe decrease, so I've had to stop. But this is a Felici yarn. It's the first time I've knit with it. This colorway is Snug Bug, I think, just a second now. So Knit Picks, Felici, and the color Punch Bug. It's really pretty self-striping yarn, and I've never, like I said, never knit with Felici yarn, and this is gorgeous. It's really soft. I love the striping. The colors are really nice and vivid, so I'm really enjoying this knit. I am struggling with the afterthought heel this time, so I need to get that done so that I can get these socks. I want to get that sock finished so I can cast on for the next sock. So that's my Christmas Eve sock. It's just a vanilla sock. I'm using, I usually use a combination of Susan B. Anderson's Smooth Operator socks and Critium Handmade's toe-up socks. So I actually use, even though this one's cuffed down, I use Critium Handmade's videos for the Kitchener stitch and the afterthought heel, so you may find that helpful as well. I'll put the information on the screen. I'm just going to pop this into the basket here, trying to keep everything quasi-organized. Next, I want to show you, I started, in December, folks were working on the Peace Shawl with the Healthy Knitter. I was all ready to start that, but I ran out of time. I ran out of time in December, ran out of time for everything. It was a combination of just getting busy, and I just decided at one point that I was tired and I was happy with how much had been done, and I stopped doing anything else. So I stopped, didn't actually even get a start, and I've stopped in the middle of a row, so if that bothers you, don't watch this part. So this is the Healthy Knitters Project Peace 2017. It's a DK weight knitted shawl. I am doing the DK version. There's also a fingering weight version. It's by, I said, the Healthy Knitter, who is, let's see if I have her name on the front of, nope, I don't have it here. Anyway, I'll put the information on the screen. I am on Ripple. So it's a series, let's see if I can get a picture here that doesn't include the pattern. There we go. It's kind of small. Hopefully the camera will focus on that. So it's an asymmetrical shawl going from a small tip down to a wider triangular base, which is knit in a lace pattern. So that's the shawl. I am on Ripple 15. of 19 or 20 ripples, I think, before you get to the lace. I'm not sure. Anyway, so that's the top of the shawl. So I have all that knit down to, of course it's hard for me to spread this out because I stopped in the middle of the row. So it's an easily memorizable pattern, really easy. I'm using a Debbie Bliss Cashmerino DK weight yarn that I've had in stash, and I'm loving how it knits up. This is a gorgeous, gorgeous yarn. I've used it in the past and I continue to love it. Great for a shawl or baby knits or anything like that. And let's talk about stash. So there's a few things. I said I don't make resolutions necessarily in the new year, but I have made, I guess I'm hosting I don't know if hosting is the right word. Although I might do prizes sometime during the year about it. So myself and a couple friends, are trying to use stash. So we're crafters, multi-craftual people. We have a lot of craft items, a lot of stash, and we're trying to use it up, or at least use some of it up in 2018. So our goal is that we stick with our stash items. You're allowed to buy something if you need it to finish something that's in your stash. So if say you're making a quilt and you need some extra fabric for the backing or the border or whatever you need, that you're allowed to purchase that, but otherwise you're pulling from stash. We understand that during the year there might be some events, so if you go on a trip or something special comes up, that there may be some setbacks in terms of adding to stash, but by and large we want to knit from stash, cross stitch from stash, quilt from stash, sew from stash. Excuse me. Basically, we want to use up as much stash as we can. So that is one of my goals in 2018, is to stash bust. And if you're interested in joining me on this endeavor, you can use the hashtag stash bust or stash busting, or four boys stash bust 2018. I'll put the hashtag on the screen so that you can follow that. So I think that is something that is going to be a lot of fun, and I'd love to see how you're busting through your stash as well. So there's that. The other thing that, so let's go into, this is not going to be an organized podcast. I'm going to be flicking all over the place. I have a pile of things to go through here that I wanted to show you. So the next thing, because I'm trying to use stash, the next thing that I want to show you so I want to use up my stash, and I have pieces. Some of my stash is fairly old, and I have cross-stitch pieces that are fairly old, for example. Most of the cross-stitch that I do are they're smaller projects. I tend to focus on smaller projects. I'm not, and I could be in the future, but at the moment I'm not interested in doing a really large, full cross-stitch piece, a piece that's, there's a word for it that's escaping me right now. But anyway, I'm not interested in a really large, fully cross-stitched piece. Or full coverage, there's the word I'm looking for, a full coverage piece. But I do have a couple of kits in my stash that I want to get started on. And for me, now I know for some cross-stitchers out there, these pieces that I'm about to show you are not considered large. But for me, they are. They're fairly intense. There's a lot of colors. They are kits, so I have everything I need to do them, but they intimidate me. And I thought maybe there's other people out there who are having the same issue, and I wanted to, us to work together and see if we can work on a larger piece of cross-stitch together. So I'm going to show you two pieces that I have, and I need to decide by next week which piece I'm going to get started on. I'm not giving myself the pressure that I had to start on the 1st of January or anything, but I want to pick one of these pieces to work on and hopefully finish this year. So my first piece I have shown before on the podcast. This is a kit that I had been looking for years, and it came out in the 1990s. I found this particular kit on eBay. It's an older kit, as is, both of my kits are older kits. So this will be in its Mary Englebright's Believe cross-stitch pattern, and hopefully the camera is going to focus on that. All right, and for me, this is fairly big. It's a 10-inch by 14-inch piece. So that's, for me, is a fairly considerable piece. And it has I have the fabric And so it's linen that's stitched over 2 threads. And it contains all the embroidery thread. I have no idea what kind of embroidery thread, if it's DMC or floss or even if it's Colorfast. But anyway, I'm not planning on washing it. I'll just be careful with keeping my hands nice and clean. It's a beautiful linen fabric though. So again, it's this Believe cross stitch. So that's one of my contenders. The other one, so that is a Dimensions kit. The other one is a Janlin kit. Again, it's old as the hills. The finished size for this one is 15 by 17, so it's even bigger than the Believe kit. And this is, again, a counted cross stitch kit. It's on Aida fabric. It also has the cotton floss needle and everything included. And the design is by Donna Vermillion Giampa. And it is the Prayer of St. Francis. So there's that one that I'm really interested in stitching. Again, I have had this forever. I've had this a very long time. So all the floss is in here. As you can see, the Aida is also kind of a brown color similar to the other one. And so that's my other one. So I need to make a decision on which of these I am going to stitch. So I need to have that decision made between now and next week for you. And if you want, why don't you leave a comment and let me know which one you'd like to see me stitch this year. I'm totally open to either. So let me know your votes and tell me which one you'd like to see me start stitching this year. And please, please, please join in. And this could be, it doesn't have to be a cross stitch journey piece. It's something that for you is intimidating and something that you want to take on, but you want some support in doing it. So it could be knitting a sweater, it could be knitting socks, it could be painting a piece of art, it could be doing what I'm doing with a larger, it could be a full coverage cross stitch piece, it could be starting cross stitch. So anything like that. If there's something in particular that you want to try in 2018 that you are intimidated by, then let's do it together. The next thing I want to show you is I want to talk a little bit about the knit-along. So I have two knit-along things to do. So the first of the two that I want to discuss is a Canadian Afghan knit-along that I'm doing in conjunction with the Fiber Friends podcast. Hi, Carolyn and Louise and Adrian, the lovely ladies over at the Fiber Friends podcast, so make sure you check them out. So we're doing this together. I had mentioned a few weeks ago when I showed this that I am doing the Canada flag pillow, but I haven't started it yet. And I know that Adrian started hers and Louise may have started hers as well. So I really need to get going on this. It started the 1st of December and it ends the 28th of February. I'm not sure if there's 29 days this year or not, so it's the end of February anyways when it ends. So I need to get this on the needles and get started. And I'm really excited. I have my yarn, so this is something that I need to get started this week. But don't forget that we're knitting along with this one. I'm going to have pull prizes, I will have a thread in my Ravelry group, and the group's name is 4 Boys and an NL Girl Podcast. I will put that at the bottom of the screen, and I will have that thread open. So I'm going to have a chatter thread. I'll do 2 prizes. So there'll be a chatter thread and there'll be a finished object thread, but you can also double, triple, quadruple dip. So I know that the Fiber Friends podcast is going to have a prize. I know that, who else is doing this? My Two Tips, Elise at My Two Tips in Vancouver is also hosting this knit along. So for example, so you can go to hers and dip into there as well. So you've got a whole variety of people to get opportunities to win by going to different podcasters' threads on Ravelry. The other one I want to talk about, and I need to apologize, Lynn and I, hi Lynn, at Sunshine and Bubblegum Podcast, we hosted a make-along in the fall. It was supposed to be over the end of November, and I still have not drawn a prize winner. So I'm going to do that now. So I'll draw the prize winner, and then I'll tell you about the prizes. I've drawn 2 names for the MCAL. Because I was so late drawing these, I've decided instead of to pull one person from the chatter thread, which I hosted, Lynn hosted the finished object thread, and she's already announced her winner. I am I had pulled 2 people from, so it was double the chance to win. So without further ado, first winner was number 35. There were 126 entries, which is awesome. First winner is Squeeze Cuddles, who is Julia from Brisbane, Australia. Hi, Julia! That's really cool. My sister-in-law is actually from Brisbane as well. Her mom just visited from Brisbane for Christmas. And the second winner was number 18, and that is Laced in Stitches Melinda, who lives in Virginia in the United States. Hi, Melinda! So congratulations to both of you. I haven't shown the prizes yet, so I want to do that. So the podcast very generously received a present this week, for which I'm going to use for the prizes for the podcast. So these are from, and I'm going to this is from a friend of mine whose name is, hold on now, Susan. Sorry, Susan, I have not forgotten your name. Hi, Susan. Susan out in Alberta. So one of the winners is going to win the first half. I will show you which is going to be won by which winner. So for Julia in Brisbane, you're going to win. These are by my friend Susan out in Alberta, who goes by SBW Creations. I'm going to put her contact information on the screen. So she sent this gorgeous machine embroidered project bag. So I'll show you that. It's a drawstring. And look at see if I can show, hopefully the camera's going to focus on that beautiful embroidery on the front. Isn't that gorgeous? So that's one of the prizes. The other part of the prize is this this is also from Susan. This is 100 grams, 600 meters of lace weight, 100% wool in the color pumpkin. And this is absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much, Susan. Look at the color. Oh, I hope Julia likes orange and browns, because I do, and this is absolutely stunning. Just gorgeous. The other person, who is Melinda, you are going to win. Oh, and I forgot to show, to go in with the prizes, I have some, stitch markers from my friend Dawn over at Dawn's Creation. Hi, Dawn. So each of the prize winners are also going to get a set of these Forget-Me-Not stitch markers that Dawn makes out of polymer clay. So these are also handmade stitch markers. So one of those each is going to go with each of the prizes. So for Melinda in Virginia, this is another skein from Susan. This is Sunshine and Forget-Me-Nots is the name of the colorway. This is 100% wool with 200 yards in the skein. And I don't know if you can see that, but it's beautiful shades of yellow and blue. And along with that, I'm also including a skein of red sock, blue sock yarn. This is also a Canadian made yarn. The colorway is Shut Up and Dance. This is a superwash worsted, 100% superwash merino, 200 yards on it. Made, as I said, in Canada, and look at the beautiful pops of color. Reminds me of a confetti cake, a birthday cake. So it's kind of on a white creamy background with blues and pinks and green neon splashes and purples in there. Just beautiful. Hope the light is okay today. It's starting to cloud over, so I'm not sure if it's as bright as it was when I originally started. And again, one of those sets of stitch markers will be going to you as well. So thank you so much for being involved in that make-along. I apologize for being so late getting the prizes out. That was just abysmal. I promise that for the giveaways that I'm going to be doing in 2018, I will be much more prompt at getting things out. So the next thing I wanted to talk about, so I've talked about the Canadian Afghan A knit-along, and there will be prizes for that at the end of February. I've talked about the sock bash. And I think what I'll probably do is I'll have a chatter thread on Ravelry Stash Bash, not Sock Bash, I'll have a chatter thread on Ravelry for that, even though you may not be knitting something. I'm going to be cross-stitching something, but I think that's the easiest place to put it. Or no, I won't. I won't have that on Ravelry at all. I will have that on Instagram. So hopefully you're an Instagram follower. Follow me at 4boys and NL Girl on Instagram, and use the hashtag the hashtag that I indicated before, which is 4boys-bash 2018, and I will pull from the comments and posts over the course of the year. So every month or so, probably every couple months, I'll pull a small prize for that Stash Bash, just to give some incentive and keep some excitement going in the group. The next thing I want to show you is some cross stitch that I have been working on, along with some acquisitions. But I'm going to show you the cross stitch piece, which is also an acquisition, but I'm going to show you this first. So this is the piece I'm doing. This is a sew along by the Real Housewives of Cross Stitch, Priscilla and Chelsea. Hi, Priscilla and Chelsea. They are hosting a sew along, a SAL, using this Country Cottage Needleworks pattern called Forest Snowfall, and there's the pattern. Hopefully the camera will focus on that. So I'm using a linen from Stash, and otherwise the called for threads, so it's classic Colorworks. I'll show you one of them. This is Weeping Willow. This is my first time using Fancy Floss, and it's really fun. I love the colors. Let's do this. Love the color. So that's Weeping Willow. It's a really pretty green. So I'm using this on a repurposed piece of linen. So if you notice something further along down at the bottom, ignore it. That's coming out. So this is where I am right now. So I still have a ways to go, but I'm really happy with how it's turning out. It's a really cute, fun pattern. It's going to be a nice size. This one I probably will get framed instead of finishing myself, I think. I'm not quite sure about that yet. I'm trying to decide. So there's that one. That's going to bring me right into acquisitions. So I'm going to get into the acquisition side of things now. Let's just move. I'm trying to move things into my basket down here so I can slowly get through what I've got on my very large work through pile. So along with the Forest Snowfall, I also picked up a couple of other patterns. So I have Heartstring Samplery's Baby It's Cold Outside. I also have the Fancy Floss for that. I also got, so these are winter patterns, because again I wanted to do some winter cross stitch patterns. This one's by Bent Creek and it's called Long Winter. Hopefully you can see that and there's not too much glare. Hoping. If there is a lot of glare, I will post it again next week. And I haven't shown you the best thing of all. I treated myself at Christmas to this gorgeous project bag by Ever Totes. Hi, Carolyn and Kathy. So Ever Totes is a Canadian bag making company. They do knitting bags and cross stitch project bags. So this is a beautiful, this one is part of their 50 Shades of Plaid or 50 Shades of Tartan. I can't remember. Anyway, it's a beautiful flannel on the top and a nice kind of canvas on the bottom. It came with this beautiful little notions pouch. Here's the notions pouch with the mousse on it. I just love that. So I can keep my scissors in and extra needles and that kind of thing. So two of the publications that I received over the Christmas holidays were Toasty Toes Socks for All Seasons by Knit Picks. That's got some gorgeous, gorgeous patterns in it. Not sure if I'm going to be able to keep up doing one a month, but that's really exciting. I also got Socktacular, which is a book I've been looking at a long time. I feel like I've said this on a podcast before, but maybe I mentioned in one of my vlogs that I had received these. And I'd like to say a big thank you to Barbara. Hi Barbara from Knitting I Love. Barbara sent me a Christmas package before Christmas. I haven't shown it off yet because she said to put it under the tree. So I opened it up at Christmas. And look at this gorgeous, hopefully the camera focuses, gorgeous, gorgeous yarn from Ireland. It is Chimera Yarns Fiber Ireland, and it's called Spice Market, and it is stunning. And when I get to Ireland again, I'm going to look this up because that is beautiful yarn. I hope the camera's focusing on that. She also gave me some other little treats. I won't show you everything, but she sent me a really cute kitty cat magnetic bookmark. She sent me this beautiful magnet. That's just stunning. And she sent me one of her sweater weather, I'll show you. Get it out of the parcel. It's like a little, it's not a lanyard, a little handle. I'm going to put on a pair of scissors, actually. Fob. It's a fob. At least that's, I would call it a fob. With Knitting I Love on it, and it's saying sweater. Just gorgeous. Thank you so much, Barbara. This week, because I'm doing Stash Bash, I ordered a couple things just before December 31st. To come in the mail before Stash Bash started, and I wasn't allowed to buy anything else. These are two lovely skeins I got from the Cozy Knitter. Hi, Christina. This is one called Celebrate the Night. Hopefully the camera's focusing on that. And the next one is HYGGE. Go to Christina and check out Die Another Day podcast for her and Amanda. Hi, Amanda. And check out how you pronounce that, because I know I'm not going to do it justice, but it's got grays and beige and peach and almost a purpley gray in there. It is stunning. And these are both fingering weight on her Bliss Base, which is 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon, and made in Canada. So that is it for my podcast. I'm sorry if I seem rushed. My camera keeps cutting out. I can't wait to see you again soon. I hope you enjoy the footage at the end. It shows you the beautiful day that we did have today. And I hope that you get time this week to make something that you love. Take care. Bye-bye.